Hi there, I'm Calvin from CJ Lightbody Coaching. Now, nobody gets through life without being exposed to stress and painful or difficult events. That's just part of life. For the next few minutes though, I want to talk about how we cope with those situations and what our coping strategies are for dealing with stressful events. I want to particularly focus on coping strategies that perhaps aren't positive, aren't helpful, or might even be harmful, and those are sometimes referred to as maladaptive coping strategies. The thing with maladaptive coping strategies is that they don't actually address the problem or the stress that's causing the issue that we have. Rather, they seek to distract or delay or give some kind of short-term benefit or comfort without actually addressing the problem. And that can sometimes lead to harm in the longer run. Some examples of maladaptive coping strategies are things like avoidance, where we're either physically taking ourselves away or mentally removing ourselves from whatever the stressful occurrence or situation is. Or perhaps it's just repeated denial, denying over again that something stressful has happened or is an issue that needs addressed. It could be procrastination, where we perhaps know that something needs to be done, but we're over and over again delaying doing something that we know should happen. Or perhaps it's escapism, where we're perhaps watching a box set for hours on end, or maybe playing a computer game for hours, something that just distracts us from the problem. Sometimes a maladaptive coping strategy can take the form of overeating, where we're trying to distract and get some short-term comfort from eating. But obviously that's going to cause problems in the longer run with not just weight gain, but developing an unhealthy relationship with food. All too often, a maladaptive coping strategy involves alcohol or other drugs, where again there's some short-term relief or release from whatever's causing the pain or anxiety or stress. But obviously that's not a great plan for long-term health. The thing with all of those maladaptive coping strategies, however, is that none of them actually address the cause of stress and can increase the stress and anxiety associated with it. And as I mentioned, perhaps have some health consequences, whether that's to our physical or mental health at some point in the future. So how do we break out of that cycle of maladaptive coping strategies, if that's what it is? How do we perhaps have a more adaptive or positive strategy to dealing with that? One of the tools I use in coaching is called ACT, and that's an acronym that stands for acceptance, then choice, and then trust. Now, the acceptance with this can just be recognizing and accepting that we are using a maladaptive coping strategy. And it can really just be something as simple as a bit of self-compassion, maybe being a bit kind to ourselves, being the voice perhaps more of a considerate friend rather than somebody who's critical. And then once we're accepted that that's happening, maybe then choosing to do something that's more positive, that's more adaptive. So examples of more adaptive coping strategies would be something like writing things down, writing your thoughts down on paper or typing on a computer. It can really help to get thoughts that are maybe running around in your head down into some kind of order on paper or on a Word document on a screen. That can maybe start to examine the root causes of what the stressful situation or problem actually is, and maybe start towards making some plans for what we're going to do moving forward. There's often a bit of negative energy associated with stress, with anxiety, with these kind of things that cause us discomfort. And if we can turn that energy into something positive, perhaps in the form of exercise, whether that's going out for a walk or going for a cycle or getting some fresh air, going for a run, any of those things will be a much more positive way of coping. I've spoken before about the power of a positive mindset, which again can be a helpful way to move forward. as can finding out more about mindfulness or developing a 10-minute meditation routine where you can develop better focusing, more calmness and coping with whatever situation that you find yourself in. All of these things will help us to move forward, actually addressing the issue and trusting then that things will be better for us moving forward. If maladaptive coping is something that you're struggling with, please don't feel that you have to do that on your own. Please do speak to a trusted family member, friend, or perhaps colleague. Or if it's something that you're really struggling with, then please don't hesitate to get professional help if that's indeed what you need. Anyway, that's all from me for now. I just want to thank you for watching this video. And if you'd like to find out more about my coaching work, please do go to cjlightbodycoaching.com. In the meantime, as always, all the very best for now and take care.